Do you ever look at your bank account and just wonder, how is it possible to earn good money, yet feel perpetually broke? It's a question that silently plagues far too many of us, a hidden struggle behind the polished facade of modern life. We're told to strive, to achieve, to earn more, but rarely are we taught how to truly manage our money, how to build a life of financial peace instead of constant anxiety. This isn't about huge sums or lavish spending. It's about a deep-seated cultural message that tells us success equals consumption, a message that often leaves us feeling empty, no matter our income. It's the quiet shame of seeing your account hit zero before payday, the subtle panic when an unexpected bill arrives, or that forced chuckle when your card gets declined for a small purchase. This isn't rare, it's a shared experience for millions. And for many, just like Andre, it takes a moment of unexpected vulnerability to finally face the uncomfortable truth. Meet Andre, the illusion of success. Let's talk about Andre. On paper, he was living the dream. A six-figure salary. A sleek, luxury car. Nights out at the trendiest spots. The latest phone, the latest clothes. Everything looked perfect. But behind the scenes, Andre was drowning. Not exactly in debt, but in confusion and a constant sense of financial instability. Every single month, like clockwork, around the 28th, his bank account would hit zero. Not a comfortable zero with savings tucked away, but a stark, unsettling zero. There were no savings, no cushion, just stress, and a shame he never talked about. He was trapped, unable to understand how his significant income just evaporated, leaving him feeling as broke as someone earning far less. The wake-up call, a $14 moment. Then came the moment that changed everything. It was a normal Tuesday. Andre walked into a grocery store for a few essentials, just a $14 purchase at the self-checkout. He tapped his card. Declined. He tried again. Declined. The cashier gave that polite, awkward smile. Andre gave a forced chuckle. Try this one, he mumbled, pulling out a backup. That one worked. But the damage was done. It wasn't the money. He knew he had the money, somewhere. It was the fact that he didn't know where it had gone. That moment of embarrassment was the wake-up call he didn't know he needed. It was the crack in the facade, the uncomfortable truth staring him squarely in the face. This was a deeper problem than just not having enough. This was about control, awareness, and a fundamental misunderstanding of his own spending habits. Confronting the numbers, a journey of discovery. That night, the grocery store incident gnawed at Andre. The shame, the confusion, the sheer frustration. He couldn't shake it. He did something he'd avoided for months, maybe years. He opened a budgeting app. For one solid, uncomfortable hour, he went through every single transaction. And what he found was nothing short of shocking. It wasn't one big purchase draining him, it was 1,000 tiny leaks. Hundreds, even thousands, of dollars had vanished into takeout meals, almost daily indulgences, ordered without a second thought. And used subscriptions, ghost payments for services he barely touched. Impulse Amazon buys, trivial items quickly forgotten or rarely used. Random upgrades, the slightly more expensive coffee, the just a bit better option. It was a revelation. His money wasn't being stolen, it was being silently siphoned off by countless small, seemingly insignificant decisions. He wasn't living a dream, he was living a continuous cycle of earning and unintentionally bleeding funds. As Andre scrolled through the endless list of frivolous expenditures, a peculiar shift occurred. Initially, the overwhelming emotion was shame. But then, as he processed the sheer volume of wasted potential, something else bubbled up, anger. But this wasn't anger at himself, it was anger at the system. Andre began to see the insidious nature of the lifestyle trap he'd fallen into. This wasn't just about his personal failings, it was about the pervasive cultural message that subtly tells you success is how much you spend, not how much you keep. It's the seductive whisper of advertising that declares, you deserve it, even when it leaves you financially empty. He realized he'd been unconsciously living by rules designed to keep him on a hamster wheel: work hard, earn well, then spend it all to signal your worth, only to start the cycle over. This realization was liberating. It allowed him to step back from the personal shame and see a larger pattern, a societal expectation he no longer wanted to participate in. That night, Andre made a profound decision: enough was enough. He was done with the financial anxiety, the hidden shame, and the endless pursuit of external validation through spending. He was ready to take back control. With his newfound clarity and ignited anger, Andre set out to build a new kind of budget. This wasn't going to be a draconian, restrictive spreadsheet designed to make life miserable. No, this budget would be different. It would be a tool for empowerment, one that finally reflected what truly mattered to him. He approached it with intentionality, not deprivation. He didn't cut out everything he enjoyed. He kept his Friday night dinners, for example. Those social connections were important. But this time, they weren't impulsive, anxiety-inducing expenses. They were part of the plan, accounted for and allocated, not borrowed from next month's funds. This subtle shift transformed them from a source of stress into a source of genuine enjoyment. Then came the cuts, made not out of resentment, but out of a clear assessment of value. He canceled the gym membership he hadn't used in 6 months, a recurring drain. He paused the incessant upgrades for his phone and other gadgets. The impulse buys on Amazon became a thing of the past. And those streaming services collecting dust? Gone. He began to discern between what truly added value to his life and what was merely a habit or a fleeting distraction. The most revolutionary step, however, was introducing automation. He set up a small, seemingly insignificant savings transfer, just $100 every payday. It didn't feel like much initially, but it was something. It was movement in the right direction, a consistent, non-negotiable commitment to his future self. This small, automated act created a buffer, proving that even tiny steps, taken consistently, could lead to significant progress. The ripple effect, from wallet to mindset. The results of Andre's intentional shift were remarkable, and they manifested far quicker than he imagined. In just 3 months, that consistent $100 transfer, combined with his mindful spending, allowed him to save his first $1,000. It was a monumental milestone, not just for the amount, but for the tangible proof that his new approach was working. By 6 months, he wasn't just saving, he was ahead on his bills and finally sleeping through the night. The constant scramble, the dread of payday, had vanished. But here's the real transformation: it wasn't just in his wallet, it was in his mindset. Andre's entire relationship with money, and with himself, had fundamentally changed. He no longer lived to impress people who weren't truly paying attention to his financial health. The desire for external validation faded. He no longer worked just to spend, caught in that endless cycle. His work became more purposeful, his earnings a tool for building a secure and intentional life. He had finally taken back control, not just of his money, but of his life, his peace of mind, and his future. Your story, too, the universal truth. Andre's story, as powerful as it is, isn't rare. It's the narrative of millions of people living for approval, striving for the next upgrade, pushing themselves to feel like they've made it while their bank accounts silently beg for help. But here's the good news, the liberating truth that might just apply to you: you don't need a financial degree. You don't need to win the lottery. You don't even need a raise to fundamentally change your life. What you need, above all else, is a decision. Decide that what you truly want, real freedom, the kind that comes from peace of mind and knowing your future is secure, is more valuable than temporary validation from fleeting purchases. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, even on a good income, hear this: it's not about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep. And how intentional you are with what stays in your life and what truly serves your values. This distinction is paramount. Earning a lot can feel great, but if it all slips through your fingers, you're no better off than someone earning less but managing it wisely. Intentionality is the key to unlocking your financial potential. Actionable steps, your path to financial freedom. So, how do you begin your own transformation, your own Andre-like breakthrough. It starts with a few simple, yet profound, steps. Start by tracking the power of awareness. The very first step is to gain absolute clarity on where your money is going. This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. For the next 30 days, meticulously track every single dollar that comes in and every single dollar that goes out. You can use a budgeting app, a simple spreadsheet, or even just a notebook. The method isn't as important as the act of doing it. Log every coffee, every snack, every subscription, every bill. Categorize your spending as you go: dining out, groceries, transportation, entertainment, housing, utilities, subscriptions, etc. Don't try to change anything yet. The goal for these 30 days is purely observation. Shine a bright light on your money habits. You'll likely be shocked, just like Andre, at the sheer volume of phantom expenses you weren't even conscious of. This awareness is the bedrock upon which all future change is built. It's impossible to solve a problem you don't fully understand. Build a values-based budget, your blueprint for intentional living. Once you have a clear picture of your spending, it's time to build your budget. But forget the old notions of deprivation. This is a values-based budget, designed not to feel like punishment, but to reflect what you genuinely care about in life. Identify your core values. What truly brings you joy, fulfillment, and meaning? Is it travel? Quality time with family? Learning new skills? Giving back to your community? Experiences over possessions? Align your spending with your values. If travel is a core value, allocate funds for it. If family experiences are paramount, ensure your budget supports them. This means you keep the joys, the things that genuinely enrich your life and align with your values. Don't cut them out. Cut the clutter. Ditch expenses that don't vibe with your values or bring real joy. Unused subscriptions, impulse buys, and habits that drain your wallet? Time to trim those. Think of it like pruning a garden: clear out the weeds so the good stuff can thrive. Automate your savings, the power of consistency. This is perhaps the most critical habit to cultivate. Automate your savings, making it a non-negotiable part of your financial routine. Start small, even if it's just $20 every payday. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to a dedicated savings account. The amount doesn't matter as much as the consistency. Pay yourself first. This small, regular transfer builds momentum. It creates a habit that, over time, becomes second nature. You learn to live without that money, and your savings account begins to grow effortlessly. Increase gradually. As your confidence grows and you find more found money from cutting clutter, gradually increase the automated savings amount. This consistent, automatic action is the engine that changes your financial future, building your emergency fund, your investment portfolio, and ultimately, your freedom. Shift your mindset, redefining worth and peace. Finally, and most importantly, comes the mindset shift. This is the deepest, most profound transformation, the one that underpins all lasting change. Your worth is not tied to what you own. True value comes from within, from your character, your relationships, your contributions, not from the brands you wear or the car you drive. Your freedom starts today. Andre's story is not an anomaly, it's a blueprint. His journey from financial confusion to confident control can be yours. It begins with one decision, one shift, one step at a time. It's a process, not an event, but every great journey begins with that first, brave step. If you're ready to stop just getting by, ready to break free from the paycheck-to-paycheck trap, and truly start getting ahead, then take that first step today. It's time to move beyond feeling perpetually broke and into a space of financial clarity and peace. Subscribe now. Hit that follow button. Join the growing community of thousands of others who've decided to break free financially, who are committed to living intentionally and building a future of security and freedom. Because your freedom? It doesn't come from another bonus at work or a shiny new job title. It doesn't come from winning the lottery or waiting for a massive inheritance. It comes from taking control of your habits, your decisions, and ultimately, your financial destiny.